Hey guys, this is Arun,
And this is Abby.
and welcome back to a brand new episode of Fill Your Pockets. Today's episode will be July 30th, so we'll be covering all the games from July 30th. Before we start today's episode, we'll do a real quick recap of Wednesday. Yesterday we didn't have an episode out, so our last episode was on Wednesday, and we went one for one. One and one on Wednesdays with our picks. The Brewers were our heavy favorites. We told you guys to lock that in before the line moved up, and I hope you guys got in because that was the easy cash. But our second pick of the day, the A's versus the Padres. Padres let everybody down. The A's came and showed out in San Diego, and ultimately left with the dub. Abishai, do you quickly want to just, if you want, recap these games? You could just give your input if you want.
Yeah, that Padres game, Maroon, as you mentioned, first inning that game ended. It was 4-0 first inning. I had no words to say. This man, Blake Snell, I don't know. Tampa Bay, they just know. When they trade players away, they know something. And Blake Snell was looking good. At home, that was his worst home performance of the year. Of course, it's when we pick him, but it is what it is. The Padres couldn't score either. It's not just like Blake Snell was so bad at pitching that he's going to score for them too, because the score was 10-0 at one point. So you clearly didn't score until the last inning, basically. So that's that. That's what happens. Obviously, that game, you had Sean Manaea for the A's going. He is their ace. And to be honest, now it makes sense why that line was so close. The second game was obviously the Brewers and the Pirates. Like we said, two teams going in polar opposite directions. And I remember the stat that I gave out for Adrian Hauser. Last 8 games that he started, they have not lost. And they killed them, and they swept them, actually, because they beat them yesterday as well. And the Brewers are well on their way to being in the playoffs. The Pirates, today is the trade deadline at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we've seen so many moves already. Yesterday, we had the NBA draft. We had
Uh-huh.
Russell Westbrook getting traded to the Lakers. We'll get
Yep.
into that in a different episode, obviously, but just to clarify the news cycle that's going on. And then with all that going on, the baseball trade deadline was going on as well. We had a humongous trade that we'll get into in one of the matchups today. But right now, it's 11:30 Eastern, and in 4 hours, God knows if who else is going to get traded, because we know for sure people will get traded.
Yep, you're right. All right, so let's get today's episode on the way. Um, so for today we have four games for today's slate. So our final picks will be on Instagram, but in this episode we'll preview four games, and hopefully we can help you fill your pockets. All right, so our first game of the night, we have a 7:10 Eastern Time game. The New York Yankees are going to Miami to take on the Miami Marlins. This is the first game of the season series, and so far all the bookies have identically the same odds. You could find the Yankees sitting at minus 165 or minus 170, while the Marlins are going to be sitting at plus value. Abhishek, thoughts on his first game of the night?
This line, Rue mentioned the line 165, 170. This line opened at like 130. So you're seeing how much money's coming on the Yankees in the situation. And I think the reason why is because there's two big reasons why. Number one, the trade deadline is going on right now, and they made two huge additions. One on Wednesday, one yesterday. They got Joey Gallo from the Rangers, big lefty bat, and then they got Anthony Rizzo, Chicago Cub legend himself. They traded for him to play first base, and I think Joey Gallo will be playing today. I don't know if Rizzo will be in the lineup today. We'll see. Usually it takes a day or two, so we'll see about that. But regardless, they're both lefties. The Yankees are dominant right-handed hitters, so this
Mhm.
helps them immensely in terms of their offense. And the second reason is because their real ace right now, ace meaning best pitcher right now, is the guy that's starting for them today. And that is shocking to say, because the $300 million man who pitched yesterday, he has been so inconsistent since the whole sticky substance issue. He got blasted yesterday for 10 runs. That was disgusting. That was pure disgusting. Garrett Cole, obviously we did not touch that game yesterday, but just a quick reminder, for this subject at hand. He's their ace. He's getting paid $300 million. He has not been their ace for the past, I would say, 2 months. The ace has been Jamison Talon, who was pitching for them today. He started off his career with the Yankees shaky, up and down, up and down. He was coming off of a significant injury where he missed all of last season, so that was kind of expected. They took a low risk flyer on him. He's not getting paid a significant amount of money. It was just to see, yo, listen, if this guy can be like what he was in Pittsburgh, we may have something here. And right now, they have found that. He has pitched against the Marlins twice in his career. He has not given up more than one run against them. He has a .82 ERA against him, against the Marlins in his career. In his last 6 starts, this is when his run has began. In his last 6 starts, this includes road games and home games, he's 5-0 in 6 starts. The one time where he didn't get the win was in Houston, where he pitched amazing, but then the bullpen just gave the game up. So that was not on him. He has been absolutely fantastic. And like I mentioned earlier, the lineup got a significant boost because he added Joey Gallo from the Rangers. And we assume he will play tonight. Anthony Rizzo, on the other hand, we don't know if he will be playing. But if he does, that's just even better. Then we get to the Marlins side of this. The Marlins, they are just retooling. They're retooling. They're not that bad. They're not good. They're right around below average right now. Last year they made the playoffs, but this year it looks like they're just adding and adding and adding. Their pitching that they've added, they traded their best player away, Starling Marte, to the Oakland A's, and they got back Lazard, who was the best prospect that the A's have. So, and their pitcher today, Thompson, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. So this now I understood why the line was so close because, to be honest, the Marlins pitcher today is pretty solid. So from that perspective, they're both, I would say, not even. I would give the edge to the Yankees because Talon has been on a tear recently. But then when we look at the 3 pillars that we keep getting into, the 3 things that you have to identify to make a pick, in my opinion, for a baseball game. Starting pitching, I would give the edge, a slight edge, to the Yankees because of who's pitching for them. Batting-wise, if both play, Gallo and Rizzo, it's clear and cut the Yankees. If just Gallo plays, with Aaron Judge coming back, Gio Urshela, LeMahieu, Torres, Sanchez, etc., got to give it to the Yankees. They did just win 2 out of 3 against the Rays, which was a fantastic thing for them, even though they got destroyed yesterday 14-0. And then we get to the bullpen. Yesterday, since the game was such a blowout, all of the Yankees relief pitchers got a day off. They did not have to pitch, which only helps them today. So I have to give that up to the Yankees, even though the Marlins do have a great bullpen, even though they've traded some of those pieces away recently. But all in all, the pick here right now, obviously we'll give the final picks out at around 5-ish probably on IG. But for right now, the pick is leaning towards the Yankees.
All right, guys. So the first game, we're leaning towards the Yankees against the Miami Marlins. Our second game of the slate, we have the Seattle Mariners taking on the Texas Rangers. Now, Seattle is leading the season series, sitting at 7-3, and not all the sports bookies have the odds out right now. Only FanDuel and DraftKings have them out, and they're pretty much identical. The Seattle Mariners are sitting at favorites at minus 130 odds, while the Texans Rangers are sitting at plus value, plus 114. This game starts at 8:05 Eastern Time. Abhishek, second game of the slate. Who you got, my man?
I don't understand this line whatsoever. The only reason why I guess this line is like this is because of not fully knowing who's starting for Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
This is honestly ridiculous because if the starting pitcher, who I think is going to pitches today, this is not even close. The Seattle Mariners are, if we're just looking in perspective, both of these teams. One team, they're done. The season's over, obviously. They just traded Joey Gallo to the Yankees. Their best player's gone. They're rebuilding, however you want to call it. Seattle, they're trying to – today's a trade deadline. They've already made a couple trades. They're going in. They're trying to get the playoff. They're trying to make the playoffs this season. They have a lot of young players. They have a fantastic bullpen. They have had solid pitching. Their hitting is their issue, but they found a way to. They have the most one-run wins of any team in baseball this season. So they're finding a way to win close games. But for this game, the supposed starting pitcher was supposed to be Logan Gilbert. Now, let me tell you something about Logan Gilbert, who people may not know, because he is a rookie. He started off his career rough, didn't start off great. I think his first 3 starts were one of his best. In his last 10 starts, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, 10 double-digit starts, they have won all of them. He has given this team life. Think about that. So that means the Seattle Mariners have 55 wins, 55 wins right now. He
Mm-hmm.
has helped them win nearly 20% of their games when he has started as a
Wow.
pitcher. And he is a rookie. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
So today's
This is
pick, obviously, if we give out the Seattle Mariners, obviously, because as Arun mentioned, the sports books don't have this game
mhm,
out. That has to be because they haven't announced their pitcher. But if
mhm.
he is pitching, this is not even close. Then you get to the other side of this, the Rangers. They already traded away Joey Gallo, their best hitter, offensive playmaker. And then you get into their pitcher today, Allard. He's lost his last 6 starts. It's two complete polar opposites here. So he started off the season solid. He was okay, but now he just looks like he's lost it. His last start was awful. He gave up 7 runs in 4 innings. I feel bad for him. Well, obviously I don't feel bad for him. These are all professionals, but for a young guy, you don't want to see this. The team's already struggling, and now you're struggling. It doesn't look well. But in terms of 3 pillars again, starting pitching, if Logan Gilbert starts, not even close. He's way better. Hitting, Seattle is not a great hitting team, but over Texas, yeah, they are better. And then bullpen, that's not even close. The bullpen has been the reason why the Seattle Mariners have won as many games as they have, and that's clearly the Seattle Mariners. So all in all, this line is 130. Obviously, if Logan Gilbert doesn't start, that could change some things depending on who ends up starting. I assume he starts. This line is ridiculous. This should be like a minus 160, 170, in my opinion, just because they're on the road. If this was a home game, they would be in the 200s, in my opinion. But there's no way anyone can find any reason to not pick the Seattle Mariners today if they're taking into account the information I just laid out right now.
All right. Second game of the night, we're leaning towards the Seattle Mariners against the Rangers. Now for our third game of the night, this is a 8:10 Eastern Time game. We got the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Chicago White Sox. Right now, the Cleveland Guardians are leading the season series between the two teams, sitting at 6-5. And in this matchup today, we actually have the White Sox favored heavily, sitting at minus 220 on DraftKings, while Cleveland is sitting uh, favored value plus 180 on DraftKings. Abhishek, third game of the night, my man. Who you got?
Well, obviously, as Arun mentioned, minus 220. Those are ridiculous odds for especially a baseball game.
Mhm.
So just so everyone knows here, this game and the next game that we're going to preview, the final game, we may be looking into a parlay just so we can get the odds in our favor because no person on earth should ever bet a baseball game at over 200 odds because you're taking a huge risk at that point. That's what it implies in this situation. But in terms of who's going to win this game, I think it's simple. You have Mahaya, if I'm saying his name correctly, versus Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn has been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball this year. His last 4 starts, he's given up 1 run in each of those starts. He has been absolutely phenomenal. He's pitched over 100 pitches per start almost. He is a machine. The White Sox just lost 3 out of 4 games against the Royals, but that was on the road. This team is just a different team at home. It's not even close. They're one of the best home teams in baseball. The Guardians, as Arun mentioned, they may be leading the season series, but that was a different time because they had their players back then. They just traded away Cesar Hernandez to the White Sox. We rarely see divisional teams trading between each other, but that's what happened. Second baseman Cesar Hernandez is now going to be playing for the White Sox. I assume he plays today. because the White Sox needed a second baseman badly, and then we don't know who else the Guardians may trade away today because they're 500. They're right there. They're in the middle. They probably know they're not going to go win a championship this year or next year or etc. So we don't know what direction they may go in. They may sell more, but all in all, White Sox are going home. They have the dominant pitching advantage here with Lance Lynn. They at home they hit way better. Their lineup is better, just in general, with the lineup they have compared to what the Guardians have. And the bullpen I would give to the Guardians in general. Their bullpen is way better than the White Sox, even healthy. But obviously, the trade deadline, as I keep mentioning, is today. The White Sox, I hope, for their sake, they make a trade for one or two bullpen pieces somehow because they need it badly. They really only have two guys in their bullpen that you can rely on, and that's it. So you can't be playing games one after another and just rely on two guys because you will now win a championship, and that's what the White Sox goal is, to win a championship. So with that said, as Arun mentioned, minus 220, that's ridiculous odds. You will never have to pick. You cannot make a straight bet with those odds. So we may be looking into parlaying them with another team. But for that, you will have to wait for the
Mm-hmm.
IG post. But I gave you the information for who we think
Right,
is going
right.
to win this game today.
Yeah. So make sure you guys definitely tune into that Instagram page because we actually tell you if it's gonna be a money line or it's gonna be a parlay. So and you get the final picks. So make sure you tune into that
For free.
for free. Yeah. All right. So let's get into this last game of the night. Now for this last game, the lines aren't fully out yet for all the sports bookies. It is a really late game. It's a 9:40 Eastern time game. We have the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Dodgers are killing the Diamondbacks this regular season. They're 9-1 when they have played this season, and the line is just moving north for the Dodgers. And it opened up at minus 165, and now on DraftKings it's at minus 180. And I'm assuming by the time the game's gonna start a few hours before, that line could be in the 200s. So Abhishek, what's your thoughts on this game? The Diamondbacks are sitting at plus 165, so the line is moving for them as well.
Well, I'm damn sure not going to pick the Diamondbacks. I can tell everyone that much. They are the worst team in baseball, top two worst teams in baseball. The Dodgers, listen, they need to pick it up. They need to pick it up because the Giants, they keep beating them. The Giants keep beating them. They keep going down in the division race. Obviously, we still have August and September to go. 4 games is not a monumental lead. But the Giants, they may make a big trade themselves. But the Dodgers, like I mentioned when we started this episode, Giants made one of the biggest trades in MLB history last night. Right when the NBA draft was going down, the first round was ending, the second round was starting. We got to see a monumental trade. Trevor Bauer's situation is obviously up in the air with his sexual assault case, whatever the hell he got going on. So they may be able to just cut him and not pay him a dime. But with that said, they just upgraded over Trevor Bauer. They traded for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner, shortstop, from the Washington Nationals. Two of the biggest reasons why 2 years ago the Washington Nationals won a World Series title. Max Scherzer, Hall of Famer. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest pitchers of our generation. The Washington Nationals were not going anywhere. They were like 8 games under 500. They knew they weren't going anywhere. They had, I think, one more year left on Scherzer. I think Scherzer's a free agent after the season. So what did the Dodgers do? They swooped in. They know that they're all in every year to win a championship. They went out and made one of the biggest trades possible. They traded away their top two prospects to get these two players. And now I don't see a way fully healthy. That's the key here because the Dodgers have not been healthy all season. Fully healthy, there is no – this is the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala. Nobody is beating them. Fully healthy, the Dodgers are head and shoulders above anybody else. They're throwing out 3 potential MVPs as there's 3 starting pitchers. Walker Buehler, who will be a MVP one day, if not this year. Clayton Kershaw has been an MVP, and Max Scherzer has been an MVP. That's your three pitchers that you have to go up against. Good luck to you. Whoever has to play this team in the playoffs. So, as a side note, the Dodgers just lost yesterday to the Giants. The Giants just seem like they have their number, but today there's no way I can pick the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Dodgers, they have Tony Gosselin, who has been very, very good for them. He has not pitched a lot for them, but when he's pitched pretty well. And the line actually isn't that significant because Dodgers versus Arizona, you would expect like a minus 250, minus 300 for games like this. So we get the benefit that this is in Arizona, I guess. That helps Arizona out a little bit. But Arizona themselves, they traded away their best hitter. Uh, Escobar got traded to the Brewers. So they're in complete sell mode, obviously. And Ketel Marte, who is their best player overall, he's on the injured list. So Arizona, man, they're just one of those teams. They know we ain't got it, and we got to pack up for next year. But they're professionals. They get paid to play, so they're gonna play. But listen, starting pitching that goes to the Dodgers. They didn't use their bullpen that much yesterday, so they still have their bullpen ready to go. And hitting, even with Mookie Betts out, even with Corey Seager out, obviously Trey Turner is not gonna play for them today because he's on the COVID list. But if you have Chris Taylor, Cody Bellinger, Justin Turner, Max Muncy, Will Smith, that's more than enough to take care of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that's why our lean and pick here is the Dodgers. But we may do something. We may
Hmm.
spice it up a little bit
Might
today.
cook up a parlay. You
Yeah,
never
might
know.
cook up, not a big one. We don't gotta get crazy out here. It's a small one, but we have
Small.
so yeah. Today may be one of our bigger lineups of the day.
Hmm. That's good, man. So the last game, uh, Dodgers should be the no thought pick of the day. Um, well, like Abhishek said, we'll fill you in with our IG post, whether to parlay it or whatever. So that wraps it up for today's episode. Hope you guys have a great gambling day, and hopefully you win some money, and hopefully we could win. We could help you win some money as well. Um, that wraps it up for the episode, guys. We'll catch you. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.